Hello, world. This is Chris Aballo's podcast experiment, and I am Chris Aballo. Welcome to the show. It's been a long time coming, but we're finally here, kicking off 2025 properly, meaning a weekly show. And you might be saying, but it's Friday. What happened? The show was on Mondays. Well, going to get into all that. But first of all, thank you if you've been waiting. I appreciate your patience. Welcome back to the show. If you're checking out the show for the first time, happy to have you here. Thank you for taking the time to check it out. And we hope you subscribe on YouTube or the podcasting app of your choice, because the next several Mondays, there will be new episodes into December. So we're doing a run of 10 episodes for 2025. And why so late? Why 10 episodes? Well, we're going to get into all that. So the plan initially, as it was the previous years where we did the weekly show in 2022 and 2023, after a little winter break, the show kicked off in April, and then we do a run of weeks, take a break, and then come back and do another run. Well, that was the hope. I'm not going to repeat 2024 because I explained that literally a year ago in the One Night Only special, just to kind of step back from the show with no plans. But I said in 2025, I want to get back to doing weekly. It was nice to step away from it for a little while, and things were busy enough that I couldn't have balanced the show and done the show the way I wanted to. So I said, you know what? Better to just do specials on occasion. And even those, unfortunately, ended up doing fewer than were even planned. And that plays into 2025. So anyway, the plan was April, the show's going to come back weekly, probably do the same thing we did in 2023, which is we're going to do 10 weeks, take a break, do another 10 weeks, do 20 shows. Optimistically, maybe 15 and 15, do 30 shows for the year. That'd be kind of cool. 2025 didn't so much start as it did crash landed. So it's so funny in the moment. Like, I debated even talking about this at all. And I'm debating it even now because I thought, no need to get into it. But I think it's fair to give an explanation, especially since in the it makes things make sense. And, I don't get too personal on the show, but I thought, you know what? This is actually something that affects what happened, and it's threw off plans. So the thought was to come back in April, and so much so that we did a couple of shows. So the show that we're going to be starting with, which was always intended to be Cape 41, was recorded February 8th. That is the episode you're about to see. The next episode, Cape 242, was recorded on March 1st. And then March 15th, we did what was going to be Cape 243, but I ended up using as the Father's Day special, which was the last episode in the feed. So go check that out if you haven't. And if you did, thanks. And thanks to all the people who saw there was a Father's Day special, reached out to me and said, oh my God, you're a dad, congratulations. No. And thanks for paying attention to what I do. Anyway, the thought was, okay, there's some time at Bravery Studios that I can use a couple of Saturdays. Let me go get a couple of shows in the cans. That way I'm better prepared when the show comes back in April. So we did those 3 shows in, 5 weeks? And the plan was, of course, to kind of keep going and doing more. That obviously didn't come together. So the year started out rocky for me in that on January 7th, my father was in a car accident. He's fine. He walked away, no problem. I think he had maybe a bruise or 2 on his arm. And we didn't know what was going to go on with the car. It turns out the car was totaled, but we were in that limbo for a little while of not knowing if the car was going to be repaired or totaled. And per my parents' insurance, well, if it's getting repaired, you get 30 days of a car rental. If it's totaled, you only get 7 days. So since we didn't know what was going on, and obviously me being an hour away from my parents, I said, keep your doctor's appointments. They have their semi-annual doctor visits for so many of their doctors, at this stage of life. And I said, keep all your appointments. I'm coming down there. So I was down there for a week, and then I'd be back home in North Jersey for a week, and then back down there again. So it was like alternate weeks. I was down the shore helping out my parents, and then I was back home. So the schedule was a little thrown off. I'm fortunate that I was in a position where I was able to go down and help them for a week at a time, but I didn't want them to miss any appointments and reschedule anything, especially because we didn't know when they'd be able to handle it themselves with having a car. Anyway, turns out the car was totaled. So then it was, okay, well, now we got to go check out cars and whatnot. But all that wasn't settled until the beginning of March. insurance process took almost 2 months, which thankfully I'm here to help them. So that was the good part of that. Now, in the midst of recording these shows, and even in saying, we'll be fine by April, I've only got a couple of shows done over these last few weeks, but that'll be okay. Well, in the midst of this, in about mid-February, due to circumstances, nobody's fault, just unfortunately things that happened in life, I had to find a new place to live with about 6 weeks' notice. Coincidentally, my car lease was up in the middle of March, which presented another problem because the car I got in 2022 was my first lease. Turned out it wasn't a great deal. And that presented some hurdles when it came to, well, am I going to buy the car out or am I going to trade it in and get something else? Am I going to finance something as opposed to lease? There were all of these questions on top of helping my parents figure out what they were going to do about their next car and trying to find a place to live, which is a whole process. There are places that are available. There are places that had wait lists. What neighborhood am I going to move to? Because the place I was in for the last 6 years. And it was like, okay, well, what kind of space do I need? And, even figuring all that stuff out, because moving into that, I moved in as part of a couple. And then after that relationship ended, I stayed there on my own because, hey, I was already there. Typical guy stuff. Oh, I'm already here. My stuff's already here. Well, I'm going to look for another place. I'll stay here and just pay the rent on my own. Aside from just regular life, a lot of mental energy being spent on helping my parents, figuring out where I'm going to live and figuring out what I'm going to do about a car. So all that stuff happened in a very, very short span of time. But it was all resolved by the end of March. I've now been in the place I moved into for the last 6 months. An apartment, which I haven't lived in an apartment in the last 7 years almost. But I'm happy to be back in one after living in houses for a while. But I'm sure I'll get into that over the next couple of weeks. Even with all that, I thought, okay, so things have been a little delayed. The show will come back in May. And I was so set on the show coming back in May that I didn't rush, but it was a lot of work to go through all of the behind the scenes footage and the 2 recordings we did to talk about the making of my short film, The Out, which if you haven't seen, you know what's coming. Link in the description down below. Please watch that. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share it. All of that. Watch it on YouTube now for free. Enjoy it. So putting together the filmmaking special was a big undertaking. And I said, okay, you know what? I want to wait to give the film some time to be released because I've been we recorded separate sessions in September of 2023 and then December of 2024. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to edit this, get it out April 30th to clear the decks of anything that was done in 2024. So at least 2025 will start in May, and that'll be with the shows, at least we recorded in 2025. They'll only be, between 2 and 3 months old. So Rushed got the filmmaking special out. I mean, it wasn't a rushed job, but it was like, I want to get it out on this date so that May will start fresh. In like 2-3 weeks, I can announce, hey, Cape's coming back for the weekly show. The reality was everyone's been busy. I don't want to say struggling, but everybody's, and it's been a theme the last couple of years, but post-pandemic, everybody's been working harder to keep their heads above water, or at least keep pace with where they were pre-pandemic. Everybody's working harder, longer hours, multiple jobs, or have had to, have been laid off from their jobs and had to find new ones, which means new commutes, new demands, all of that. So the regulars, part of the Cape Extended Universe, people weren't going to be as available as they wanted to be, which was the thing. Everybody wanted the show to come back. Everybody was down to do it. It was just a matter of availability. With the show being a creative outlet, but also being fun and not being a job, I said, you know what? Let me wait. I'd rather do the show with the people I want to do it with when they are available, which is no doubt going to come up over the next couple of weeks as these people show up on the show, because it just wasn't happening, especially going into summer. Summers are really difficult because if people do have any kind of time off or want to get away with their families and whatnot, usually happens during the summer over here in the Garden State. So I said, all right, we'll wait till fall. Got a few episodes in the can. We'll do 10 episodes in the fall. But knowing that was likely, since the show with Joe and Jack was so good and about fatherhood, I said, well, let me at least put out the Father's Day special so there's something for June, and hopefully that'll tide over the followers and fans for the next couple of months. And even plans that we had in mind for the show, as I've been talking to all the regulars, even now with it being fall, haven't come together. Like the last couple of years, we did a Halloween live stream. And despite our best efforts this year, it's not going to happen. We're 3 weeks out from Halloween. It doesn't look like it's going to happen as much as we wanted to. It's just not coming together. So unfortunately, not going to have a Halloween live stream in 2025. Little concessions that have had to be made in light of, okay, what can we do? What shows do I want to do? What do I want to talk about? Because it's not as if I didn't feel a temptation to, in July, oh, well, let me do an Ozzy Osbourne special to talk about him, since he passed away. Or in August to do an Oasis special, because I attended the first Oasis concert at MetLife Stadium here on August 31st. So I thought leading up to that, oh, you know what? It's been 20 years since the last Oasis concert I saw. I've been into them since 2004, heavy into them since 2004. They're one of my favorite bands. And I thought, oh, maybe do an Oasis special. And then, like everybody, do an Ozzy Osbourne tribute episode. So there were the temptations to do that. But then I thought, no, just wait. Just do the show in the fall. Do the show you want to do. I'm sure those things will come up throughout this run again. Or eventually, I'll talk about those things. So why start today? Why start Friday, October 10th? Well, the reason I decided to kick off the fall run, well, the only run of 2025, the weekly run, on October 10th is because today marks 15 years since, wow, God, I felt that in my chest. I said it, 15 years. 15 years since the launch of the only podcast that matters, which was my first podcast. We put out the first 2 episodes of that show on October 10th, 2010. Yes. 10-10-10. Just kind of worked out that way. By the time we had the website up and by the time we got the iTunes approval and all that other stuff, that was the only place in 2010 to get a podcast. So it was like, we got to get on iTunes. We got to get on iTunes. We got to wait. There was like a long submission process for it was like 5 to 7 business days to get approval. Now it's all one click and you can be on like all the apps. You can get approval, that day or within a day. But back in 2010, it was strictly iTunes and the website. You could send people to your website. But, everything just came together on October 10th, 2010. We always make a big deal when there's an anniversary or birthday that ends in a 0 and a 5. But 15 years, it is a long time, and it is a big deal. And that show, the best ofs, are still available for that show. So if you're listening to this or whatever podcast app you use for audio, you can still find the only podcast that matters and the various best of compilations that are out for that. That is what is now available because that highlights literally the best of the show. And those were all cut together by me, so it's quality. But I thought, well, to kind of acknowledge that anniversary, let me kick off CAPE on the anniversary. So there we go, 15 years that I've been podcasting, at least since I've released my first podcast. We actually recorded the first 2 episodes June 30th of 2010. Little bit of trivia for you. There is just for the sake of clearing it up, because I don't think it's been addressed for a while, especially because the show hasn't had a weekly run since 2023. So when the show goes up, because now the full video episodes go up on YouTube. So that's, with the exception of today, that will be Mondays at noon Eastern time. The audio, whether you listen to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any of the other various podcast apps, the audio goes up at 6 a.m. Eastern time on Monday. So there is a little bit of a gap, but I don't know if anyone posts YouTube videos at 6 a.m. That'd be kind of weird. But noon Eastern Standard Time, the video goes up. 6 a.m. Eastern, the audio goes up. So wherever you're subscribed, just so you know when the episodes go out, that's something that has been addressed for a little while. Last bit of business before we get to the first show properly. Today also is the relaunch of the CAPE Patreon. The Patreon did exist in 2021, and it's something that, because of I want to make sure I was, pumping out stuff weekly along with every episode and all that. It was just like, I can't maintain this. This is becoming like a second job. There's doing the show, there's editing the show, there's, everything that was involved in that, then putting the stuff on Patreon. And I was like, I can't do this the way I want to do it. In most cases, for something, it's like you want to be able to maintain it and deliver it to people the way you want, in a way you can be proud of. And I just said, you know what, I can't maintain this the way I want to. So I just deactivated it. Well, it's been reactivated. Also because of the way things have evolved. Yeah, also in the last couple of years when it comes to things like fan support, whether we're talking about, on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, but even in terms of sites like Patreon, where people are happy just to support because they're fans. Once again, use the link down below, patreon.com/CAPEPOD. And it's a flat $5 a month. That's all we're doing for now. And it gives you access to everything that's going to go up there. Now, the show, as I said, is going to run through December. And while there will be plenty, you're essentially right off the bat getting a bonus episode kind of the pre-show from Cape 241, which is, I think it's almost an hour and a half of video of myself and my co-hosts. So You're instantly getting like a bonus episode every week. What's the plan when the show is not happening? Because I still want it to be worth your money as much as I appreciate the support. If you just want to, kick us $5 a month to support when that money goes back into the show itself, it's just going to be kind of bonus material for now. But while the show is not happening, because a lot of things I'm doing outside of the podcast, whether it's film or whatever else, there are a lot of projects I've been hired on that have come about in 2025 that I'm happy about, that just unexpectedly came along. And I thought, you know what, there's some behind the scenes material, behind the scenes of The Out, my short film. That stuff can go on Patreon. So it's kind of going to be, by extension, a Chris Aballo Patreon. If you follow the podcast, you probably at least have a mild interest in me. So you probably want to see the other stuff I'm up to. So there are some other things that are going to be there on top of Cape material from the archive. Like in the past, there have been like from the archive compilations of like, pre-show nonsense and whatnot. That's now all going to be on Patreon. There aren't going to be like compilations for general release anymore, because I feel like, well, it's worth it to hold that stuff back kind of for an exclusive. And also we're doing less episodes, so it would kind of feel like filler at this point. But I'm open to suggestion, whatever you guys want. If you wanted me to do, Q&A episodes, you want me to do the episodes, solo episodes like I've done here and there, just talking to you guys, people are fans of those. And I haven't done those in a while. So I'm open to suggestion with what you want. But there will be material as a separate video on the Patreon page all about that. But if you want to support the show, kick us $5 a month. Check out the link in the description, whether you're watching or listening. Go to the Cape Patreon, subscribe for $5 a month. We greatly appreciate it. So now we're going to flash all the way back from February 8th. All of a sudden, you're going to see me with a full beard and shorter hair. It's still long hair, but it was shorter. But watch it back, I was like, oh yeah, I was 5 weeks into growing a beard at that point. And be like, wow, that's a different person. And it kind of is. It's like, what's the bizarro over it? It's like Wario. It's like, this is Mario. That's going to be Wario that you're going to see come up on the screen in a few moments. From February 8th, 2025, joined by my co-host guests, Jason Enrique from the First Class Second Place podcast, and U-Goboy from the U-Goboy podcast, also known as Ugo. And we're going to be talking about creativity and work-life balance, taking breaks to recharge your batteries, all sorts of stuff. And once again, in a few days, Monday, October 13th, Cape 242, myself and Christian Cortez, his first time here at Bravery Studios, which he's very excited about. Anyway, without further ado, Cape in 2025 begins now.
What happens when an Italian, a Nigerian, and a Colombian enter a studio? You get the ultimate podcast experiment.
Ooh,
I like
good.
that. I like that.
Good.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's a setup for a bar. 3 people walk into a bar. That whole thing. Anyway, joining me.
That's a bar. That's a bar.
Yeah.
As spitting bars in 25.
As the kids say, that's a bar.
That's a bar.
For sure.
Joining me to kick off 2025, please welcome back to the show, U-Goboy.
Yo, Yahtzee.
And Jason Enrique.
Yes, indeed.
We all know that's a stage name. But that's okay. He's still Jason Enrique.
It's both.
Well, I know. His real name is Jason Encanto. But
we don't talk about Bruno.
Well, you said everybody knows your name because of Encanto.
It's a great movie.
It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's Jason Encanto. I thought that was is that not your last name?
No, my last name is Madrigal.
Oh,
that's my actual government last name. So.
Mm-hmm. Jason Encanto, everybody. So now let's address. True. Yeah. Who's to know, right? Yeah. You just sign it, and everyone's gonna be like, whatever. It looks like a bunch of scribble to me. See the doctor's signature, just a bunch of loops.
That's hilarious.
All right, let's address the fuzzy elephant in the room, shall we? So,
don't be so hard.
I have that's why the shirt stays on. Comes off for the OnlyFans, but. I have a beard because a forthcoming film that's going to be happening, which was, among all the other life things that kind of get in the way, and, we'll get into those things in a little bit, but which is funny because, like, the beard was actually going to make its debut on someone else's show in November, and then it kind of didn't pan out, and I thought, oh, okay, because I originally grew it. I was supposed to do my next short film the week before Thanksgiving, and then we ran into not one, but 2 schedule issues, and I had to push it back. So I'd grown the beard for that and then shaved it off as soon as and I was like, all right, well, never mind. I'm not going to live with this thing for, the next however many months. It got pushed into the new year. And then I was just lazy on New Year's Day. and January 2nd and January 3rd. And I was like, I'm just going to get started now. I don't know when we're shooting this thing, but I don't want to. Let me just do it while the weather's cold as hell, because it immediately was like 20 degrees as soon as literally January 1st, it was freezing.
Yeah.
And I know it's not built necessarily to keep our faces warm, but I said, you know what? Let me just get started on this thing now. So it's supposedly shooting next month. So I don't know how I'm going to look. This could be a real, like every episode, because we're doing this so far in advance from when it's going out, that next week I could look completely different. Who knows? I could have short hair, my blonde. I might have a goatee. I might have a mustache. I have no idea what's going to happen. Pork chop sideburns. Who knows? So I don't know if this is going to stick, but as far as why I have it now, yeah, this isn't a change, but and it's kind of, it's interesting, and I realized when we all sat down for camera, I'm like, oh, right, I'm always the one who doesn't have a beard. And I usually am in photos with guys.
Yeah.
I'm usually the only one who doesn't have a beard. I kind of like that, because then I stand out in some way. And now it's kind of weird to just be like, yep, just three dudes with beards doing a podcast.
It's not even the fact that you're 6'2".
I mean, partly. Well, he is. We're about the same height. You're about 6 feet, right? You're 6'1"?
6'1".
Okay, so you're just above me. But yeah, it kind of, I don't know. I have nothing wrong with it. I mean, I'm surprised that just how much I hadn't actually fully grown a beard in a long time. So I was surprised when I did grow it in October. We did the one night only special in September, and then I immediately stopped shaving the day after that. And it's about 5 weeks in right now. And yeah, I was surprised after about 3-4 weeks. I thought, wow, it's actually kind of robust. I've never grown a beard. Mm-hmm. Like, I've stopped shaving for a little while. Like, there have been a week. My friends dared me back in 2012. Just like, I wasn't working at the time. I'd been fired from the only job I'd ever been fired from. Believe it or not, only been fired from one job. Okay. And my friends were like, I've never seen you with a beard. Like, you shave every day. And I said, yeah. They're like, don't shave for 1 week. And I was like, oh, I should have the unemployment beard. So we dubbed it the unemployment beard. I literally did. We got together to record a podcast one Wednesday. I think we had planned for like the next Wednesday. And I just literally didn't shave for a week. And that was it. And that was up until, I don't know, maybe 2 years. Well, last year I had one. You and I, there's a photo because I was kind of making fun of the fact that I had one.
Yeah.
This is going to be a beard-centric episode, but I just thought, it's kind of funny to even sit and see myself on camera with it. It's like, oh, yeah, it does look kind of different. I'm convinced that, I can't do it now because I'm putting it out there. But literally, if I just like shaved my head and got some colored contacts, I could start a new life. Because I look less like myself. Like, really, if I didn't have the long hair and if I didn't have the blue eyes to stand out, I'm like, people won't know. It's as close as I get to being incognito, but I can't keep it full time.
Yeah. You kind of have a point though, because I feel like the beard actually brings out the blue more in your eyes now.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, see,
I feel like they were always there, but now that the beard is there, it accentuates it even more.
I see. So. Well, that's the thing with the dark hair, like juxtaposed against the blue eyes. I've always gotten that. So now that it's coming from both the north and the south, you think it punctuates the eyes. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a diamond in the rough.
It's sapphires in the rough. You hear that? But I mean, look, the only reason I've avoided it is just because beards are trendy, and they have been trendy for a while. And at a point, when Ted Cruz jumps on a trend, it's fucked out. So I'm like, I can't. And look, he's stuck with it, even though he looks like Wolverine's cousin who takes the struggle bus. But anyway, so
specific.
Let's get back. I got jokes. What can I tell you? So anyway, listen, I touched on kind of what 2024 was about and the lack of the weekly show in 2024. I talked a little bit about it in the beginning of the one and only special, but just to kind of bring it up to date because I realized that no doubt some new people getting on board, joining the party with this episode. So, yeah, did the show all through, did 20 episodes in 2023. The show gradually has kind of been slimmed down over the last couple of years because, just like everybody, 2021, not a lot of places to be. It was easy to do it once a week.
Sure.
And doing it remotely, hey, no problem. 2022, took a little bit of a break at the beginning of the year after doing 100 episodes with no breaks. And then ended up doing 27 episodes, I think, in 2022. And then 2023 did 10 episodes, took a break, did 10 more, did 20 episodes. And honestly, yeah, part of it was scheduling. I mean, everybody's just back to work. If anything, working harder because we've said the same thing 2 years ago, but it's true. Everybody's working harder than they were before the pandemic just to keep their head above water. So we're all busier than we have been. And it's not just, take the fact that, it's been 5 years since quarantine. So it's not like, oh, that kind of shifted the scale for everybody where it's like, oh, we were doing nothing. So now doing anything feels like a lot. No. We're all definitely busier than we were in 2019. That's definite.
Yeah.
Just
It's
life. Yeah, that's it. It just takes more. And it was tougher to get people together in 2023. Well, I didn't know whether or not the 2023 run was going to happen. Enough time has passed now. I can kind of say, as much as it's not my business to put out there why. There were questions about, am I going to do the show in 2023? What's going to happen with it because of some outside circumstances? But thankfully, Braver Studios comes along, and these guys come along, and then it was just like, okay, here's another way for me to do the show, and to it's not like the show needed to be revitalized, but it was a way to expand the show beyond, have this studio, to have a whole new group of cast members, more misfits to join in on this nonsense. So 2023 was also really, really strong. And at the point when we did the holiday show in December of 2023, at that point I knew, it was like, I'm not going to make any plans for next year, because it was harder to coordinate when people are going to be doing the show. Just scheduling people was just getting more and more difficult. And you guys know that from doing your own shows. It's just kind of been harder.
Yep.
And on top of that, I was really, really happy with the momentum of 2023. And part of it also was, in that year, we did 4 of my favorite episodes. There isn't officially like a top 10 favorite episodes, but like 4 of my favorite episodes were in 2023. It was the 2 episodes with my parents, which, not just because they were with my parents, but because they were better than I could have expected. It's not that I thought it was never going to happen, but I thought maybe they'd begrudgingly come on the show just because I wore them down. But they did it, and they were genuinely ready to do it, and they genuinely enjoyed themselves. So those came out better than I could have expected.
Yeah, your mom was great.
Thanks, man. It was, and again,
she's a peach.
Yeah, she is. Those were just a lot of fun to do. And yes, I said it, the one night only special. But yeah, they're going to be back on the show together at some point this year is the plan. So we're working on that. With Christian, of course, because he had so much fun kind of getting to know them, and has now become, they keep referring to him as their other son. And I'm like, well, that's encouraging. So I'm like, is he your only son? Is this going to be like a situation like The Good Son? You're stuck holding holding on to each of us on the edge of a cliff.
Childhood classic.
Yeah. Never. I haven't seen that movie in years. I feel like that's one of those that like slipped through the cracks, where like nobody really at the time was a big deal. Macaulay Culkin, an R-rated movie, and I feel like nobody kind of talks about that. I should revisit that movie. It's been years. I remember it premiered on HBO, and I was like, I'm so in, because I was like 12, so I wasn't going to the movie solo yet.
Right.
But anyway, so there were those 2 episodes. There was the waxing special, which was just so funny.
Legendary.
It was. It just all the pieces came together for that, and it was super funny. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I haven't really done like a stunt show like that, so to speak. And I always thought that would be fun, but it was just, everybody had a good time. And it was just, it was more like a big party than a show. Like a show happened within this big hang here at the studio. And also the Black Friday special, the Black Friday takeover rather, and that Christian and Ugo did, which was, aside from having them kind of interview each other and get to know each other, I mean, I got to see your friendship blossom literally when we were shooting The Out, which is available, by the way, link in the description if you want to watch our short film, The Out. And it was fun seeing that, but also seeing you two like kind of get to know each other and see this friendship grow. But at the same time, the biggest part of it for me, the thing I loved the most was it was a Cape episode that I wasn't there for, but the dynamic and everything was just like this. It wasn't the U-Goboy podcast. It wasn't any of the other podcasts Christian works on or participates in. It genuinely was a Cape episode that I wasn't there for. So to kind of sit back and watch it was kind of trippy, to be like, oh wow, this is exactly like how it would be if I were sitting there. So that was part of it, where I'm like, wow, the show is just for me, has been going up and up and up. And it's not like I thought, well, where do I go from here? But I thought, well, let me kind of reassess. Because there's a point, and I think you guys would agree with this, where when you've been working on something for a long time, you're kind of out of the discovery phase, and you're more into honing your craft. You're more into getting better at what it is you're doing. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was with the show, where I thought, well, I could just start it up again and do it weekly and just have it be that. But then I thought, maybe I should take a step back and kind of think about what it is I want to do, as opposed to just, well, it's a new year, let's start. And admittedly, I got the itch in April that I was like, oh, it's time to bring back the show, because the show always goes back in April kind of thing. At least it had the 2 previous years. So it was weird to not do it. But at the same time, there were other opportunities that came along, like some film stuff and some other projects. I had 2 musical heroes reach out to me for different projects, which those conversations are ongoing, which is great. So there are other things that might be happening. And I thought, there was a great interview I saw with Seth, I believe it was Seth MacFarlane who said this. I want to give him credit, and I hope I got this right, but he was talking about, because, he obviously has been doing Family Guy for, what's at this point, 25 years or something like that, and has done the Orville and has made films, and, as the Ted series and, all of this, or even like American Dad, like he's had so many things that he's done. And the host was asking him about it, and he said, I'm only good at, I'm at my best, rather, when I'm working on one thing at a time, like what's in front of me. And I believe he used the term creatively monogamous, which I thought was great.
That's awesome.
Because I thought,
that's great.
Yeah, that's me. Because, and, as three guys who are always looking to improve ourselves in all areas of our lives, it's very, I'm one of these people who there are 5 things I'm trying to work on, I'm trying to get better at, personally, creatively, whatever, at the same time. And I'm only, you're dividing your energy up, so you're only able to progress so much in each area. And then I get frustrated by the lack of progress for like each individual thing. And then I'm like, what did you? So I figured, all right, I'm better when I'm just focusing on this. I mean, there were, a bunch of film festivals the film was submitted to in 2024. So I want to keep that open because most of them involve travel, had we gotten into most of the festivals. And, at the same time, film opportunities and whatnot. And I just thought, you know what? In the midst of doing all of this, I could be doing the show as well, but I'd be doing the show out of some sense of obligation and feeling, or even just habit, like, oh, this is what I do. So that's when I thought, all right, well, there's no plan for 2024. There's no plan to do shows, there's no plan to not do shows. Let's see how it happened. And I ended up doing some specials, which in and of itself was fun. It was great to do the special at the Secret Stash that went up in October, to just do kind of a one-off because it scratched the itch and, everybody wanted to do it. It was great to have you guys do the Black Friday special, and get together because it's something you guys want to do.
It's fun to do it. Letty was great too. She was awesome.
Without a doubt.
She was awesome.
And to do the filmmaking special as well, where we talked about the entire arc of the out and everything that kind of went into, that 2 years from, as it all came together to the end of the festival run, to address all those things, which I feel like all of those things would have been, they're better to kind of stand on their own than it's just like another weekly episode, just in the, in the standard, like, every Monday format. But, and the reason I want to have you guys here, as I've been carrying on now for the last couple of minutes, but we've all had to figure out kind of how to balance the creative with life. And, you guys have had to also take breaks from your shows for various reasons, but I mean, breaks are necessary. Am I right on that?
Yeah, I think so. I think, when you're doing anything, it's always good to kind of like do like a self-diagnostic or like run kind of like a self-evaluation of, self-assessments,
in corporate speak,
all the nouns.
Right.
I think that, I watch so many other shows, of colleagues of like the big brands, of ones that I'm fans of that I enjoy watching, and I don't watch because, oh my God, I want to do that, I want to be like him or be like her,
right? Or
God, they got 1 million views on this video right here, I need that. I mean, that's not why I watch because it's entertaining.
That never even crossed my mind.
Yeah, it's a good product. Like,
right.
Like Shannon Sharp is fucking hilarious. He's so funny. And I knew he'd be good at this being on camera because he was funny as a player. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't wait to hear like sideline behind the scenes where he's just yelling and making jokes and jumping around on the sidelines, and now he's sophisticated with glasses, like
and couches
and couches and Le Poitier. You know what I mean? His liquor brand or whatnot. Interviewing Cat Williams and shit. And it's like
breaking news. Every episode is like breaking news for that guy.
And now he talks to everybody.
Yeah,
now he's getting his Oprah on. He's freaking talking to Kai Cenat for freaking the streamer. He's talking to Steve Harvey.
He had Kamala Harris on.
Harris on. Like it's nuts. But it's like I watch. I'm big on inspiration. I want to be inspired. I want to always do something. I always want to. I got this from Boardwalk Empire, one of our favorite shows. Like Nucky was, I think he was talking to one of the young boys that he was like grooming to like be the next guy or whatever. He's like, you should always have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And it's just a really simple really simple, but it's really powerful. Like, you should always have something to look forward to. And it's like, I want to always have a version of the feeling of, like, when I know it's like record day, like I wake up and, okay, I'm going to record today. I'm going to record either in studio or virtually or whatever for my show. Like, I'm always, there's some version of anxiety and some version of excitement. There always is for me. There always has been. And, you know, when it's record day for like people I work for, you know what I mean, for job and whatnot, that's a different, like, that, yeah, they pay me and that's like what I do and that's what I pay taxes on and whatnot, and and you know, that's how I survive. But it's like, it's not the same. And mind you, those brands or those entities or whatnot, these are multi-million-dollar corporations. Like this, like, a lot of money is exchanging hands, you know what I mean, for some of these LLCs and enterprises. And it's just like, you know, I get it that that money's important, right? No, but it's a tool, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you know, it's what we talk about all the time. It's like, you know, I obviously I want my pod to grow, and I want my brand, and I want U-Goboy Media. I want it to like be its own thing, you know, and it's growing into that, you know. But I do it because I love doing it. You know, I love talking sports. You know, I love talking, you know, having conversations with people in education and politicians and business owners and authors and actors, and, you know, I just love hearing stories, you know, and sharing those stories. And it's like, it's good to take a break though, to just like you said, assess, like, okay, so what can I do differently? Or like for instance, I'm going live more this year. Like I used to be so anti-live, like it was just so cringe. Just the thought. Like, I gotta, hey guys, let me check the watch time here. Like, you got how many people are watching and how many people.
It's
like,
a different dynamic. It completely shifts the dynamic.
Completely.
Like, I like doing live streams as a special thing once in a while, but it is a different dynamic because you are conscious of who's viewing and if there are live comments and responding to people and whatnot. Like, it changes the show.
It does.
It's a different kind of show.
It 100% does.
Yeah.
Like I did a few, like, say I've done thus far this year. I did one actually yesterday with this. He's a huge like Dallas Cowboy YouTuber from Texas, and we met each other.
Oh yeah,
he saw one of my rants on that, mind you, I put it out right before I went on vacation earlier this year, and I was on vacation when it went viral.
Right.
Like it literally exploded in like 2 days. Yeah. And it's like at 1 million views. People are still commenting on it. Now I still
Cowboys long over their season.
I'm like the season ends Sunday. Like why are we still doing this? But I saw that he put in his story, and then we DM'd each other, and then we got each other's numbers, and we're talking, and we did a live virtual episode yesterday
on his show.
On his channel.
Yeah, but it's also on your channel.
Yeah, and it's on my channel too, because StreamYard lets you put it on your channel as well.
Oh, nice.
So it's on his channel, it's on my channel, and it's just like, that doesn't happen 3 years ago. I'm not even thinking about those type of interactions 3 years ago.
Right.
I was just like, I just found Bravery Studios. I'm just doing episodes with Marv. Like, I had my guy Dave Sturcio on. This wall was completely different. I was on. I was like,
wasn't it on this side?
I believe so.
We were facing. Yeah, it was originally facing the control room.
Yeah,
because the first time I came to Bravery Studios, I was facing this way.
Yeah, we were facing the control room.
First time I visited, it was facing this way too. Right.
Yeah,
and same with the champagne room.
Yes, champagne room.
The other studio.
Champagne room.
It wasn't all.
It was in that iteration.
Decked out like it is now.
If a girl has a pierced tongue, let me stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Half off. Bravery said, just kidding. Just kidding.
Champagne room's hilarious. But no, like, so I just always being more open-minded, always being forward-thinking, and at the same time being intentional with yourself, because when you do a self-assessment, that's what you're doing. You're being very vulnerable and very intentional with yourself. Like, okay, so I want to do this. Why do I want to do this?
Right.
I want to change these. I want to make some changes. Why am I making these changes? What's the reasoning behind it? How does this move the ball down the field? How does this progress? Not just what I'm doing, but myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's very important. It's very important when you're creative to do that and to do it on a regular basis, because it makes everything better.
It does. No, I mean, and it isn't always necessarily to retool the show. Sometimes just like Jason, you've been very transparent about, I'm taking a month off, everybody. Things are busy right now, and I'll see you in May, or whatever it is. You've done that many times because you're like, it's not happening right now.
Right. And it's because sometimes I would see some of my radio heroes and they would go on vacation, and I'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool, they're going on vacation. But if I had their jobs, I would literally be doing this 365 days a year nonstop. Because
we all tell ourselves that. Yeah. It's like, if I had that opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then now I'm in it, and it's my own project, so to speak. And now I see, all right, I'm having fun, but I feel like I need to relax my brain a little bit.
For sure.
I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I can't do it like I used to. But at the same time, like, recharging your batteries is always a good thing. I mean, you could have the new brandest cell phone or piece of technology, but you know what? That still needs to recharge every now and then. It's not gonna last long. So
every day.
So but it's healthy, because it also allows you to take a step back and seeing what you can do better, and maybe not even do better, but also try to figure out different avenues. Because if you just stay stuck on that treadmill, there's nothing really that's gonna happen.
There is a little, like, again, I felt like I can do this out of habit, and it could be, not that it's monotonous, not that I don't look forward to it, because the shows themselves are fun. But obviously I have my whole routine when it comes to reviewing the show and chopping up clips and all of that. Like I do, Cape is always 3 days out of the week. It's the recording day, it's the review day, it's the video editing day for me. Now, obviously not full days, out of that, but I'm like, I need to schedule 3 days time, 3 days during a given week to take care of that show. And even when it comes to figuring that out, it's like, am I able to make that work with everything else that's going on? And even at the stage we're at now, we're still very independent. We're in charge of our own shows. The scale we're working at now, and frankly, I feel the same way with film. I'm like, to be able to take the break or push things off, or, like even with the film, in November, it's just like, all right, we're shooting it next year. We'll see. I was thinking February. Now it's looking more like March, but that's still to be determined as we sit here. And I think that even at this stage to be able to do that is great, because if things do progress, maybe we won't be able to do that. Maybe we won't be, maybe there'll be enough moving parts that it'd be nice to think we're still calling the shots. But, if you have employees, or if you have, a set schedule that, like, your audience depends on, or you have sponsors or whatever, maybe you don't have as much freedom to do it. So especially right now, while we have the freedom to step back and, refill the bucket and, everything else. It's like, it's worthwhile to do it now, I think, because if things progress, it's like, hey, man, then we might feel beholden to things outside of ourselves, where, it's not to say you can't take breaks here and there, but like to be able to take a month off or a few months off, it's like, yeah. I mean, I was in conversation with somebody about this within the last couple of weeks. It was around the holidays, actually. And they were saying, because they're, of course, asking, like, you're still going to do the show, right? I'm like, yes, I'm just taking a break. That's what everybody else, like, Cape was not euthanized. It was just put to bed. I literally said, like, I'm not doing this for right now. It's the show, my official announcement.
It's on sabbatical.
Yeah. The show will exist as long as I exist. I'm not saying I will ever be 100% done with the format and doing the show. Like, I can't imagine that's going to happen. So the show is always on the table for me. Right. But, it needs to be balanced among all the other things I do, because it's not strictly the only thing I do creatively, or the only thing, it's scheduled like everything else. It's gotten to that point. It was fun, during quarantine when there was nowhere to be, and I was just able to work on the show because it was somewhere to put my energy. But, the rest of life beckons, and I can't just schedule all my time around. And that's why it works for a couple of weeks. So like now, again, we're banking this episode probably 2 months before it goes out, because it's just how it goes. And, it's fun to go to the studio once a week. And I did that a lot. That was a lot of 2021, was going down to a shared universe every week and doing the show. And there was a fun part of, like, even the drive there to do the show, or even like the hang beforehand, or like driving home afterwards and feeling like, man, that was really good and we had a lot of fun. Can't wait to watch it back and actually see what happened, because when you're in the moment, you don't absorb everything that actually was said, or, everything that kind of went on. And as much fun as that is, that's also not realistic, because most people I know can't carve out the same day. It'd be great, but carving out a dedicated night every week to be able to do this is just not sustainable for people.
Right. And also what I've learned is that whenever I've taken breaks, and every now and then I'll have people reach out to me, text me like, "Oh, no episode this week." And so it builds up that anticipation for when you're coming back.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I learned also. Like, anticipation is a big thing. Like, people are going to be looking forward to when it does come back.
Yeah. And I've found that too. That's why I love cutting promos. I think that's a lot of fun. So when it is coming back, I make it like it's the biggest thing. Like it's summer movies coming out or network TV show or whatever's coming back. It's like, no, the show's back, and
whenever you cut up a reel, it's like watching a Marvel trailer. That's exactly what it is.
And that's it.
I told you your editing is top tier.
Yeah. Right. No, I love you for that.
Kept cutting shit on you.
It's. I mean, you're right. Yeah. We're laughing, but it's true.
And you're not banned either. Anyway.
But no,
came back.
But I honestly, I like treating it like it's the biggest show in the world, and like everybody's listening when I'm doing it.
As you should.
Even if everybody's not, and it doesn't matter if they're not, but I'm like, well, I'm still gonna promote it that way because it still is. Yeah, people are excited when the show comes back. People are gonna be shocked because they're like, wait, no, Mike and Christian. I'm like, well, they're okay. They always do the first show of the year, but instead you guys are here, and turns out they don't give a shit, so they don't care that Mike and Christian aren't like, we don't need to be on your dopey show every time you want to start up again.
Whenever I've been on several podcasts in these last couple of years, but I can honestly say, and I'm not even just blowing smoke up your ass because this is your show, but I legitimately feel like out of all the podcasts that I've been on as a guest, I would have to say that Cape actually does feel like an actual universe because there's just so much different characters and so many people that are involved in it, and there are episodes where you don't even need to be in it. I mean, you did the Black special, but it's still your format. So it did feel like you're Stan Lee. This is what it is.
That's the thing, and even that is like all the more reason I felt compelled. Like, well, should I take a year off from doing it because people love doing the show?
Yeah.
I regularly hear. I just had a conversation last weekend with two guys in the Cape Extended universe who said, like, whenever you need me, let me know. Like, I'm down. I got stories. And there are people who will say, even if they have podcasts, will save stuff for Cape because they're like, oh no, this is perfect for your show. Like they will sit on stories and things like that because they know it's welcome here. Yeah. Which I love that. I love that it's, yes, there is a format, but it's also like, I don't say it's format. There's no agenda necessarily. Like it's just here to make you laugh. Like we're not, and that's another thing. If you're just getting on the show, it's like we're not going to talk about the news. We're not going to talk about politics. We're not going to talk about any of that stuff because this is supposed to just be entertainment. At least Cape is supposed to be. It's not about bringing. I mean, I guess it's escapism. Like it's not that we're not bringing the outside world in, but it's not. It's not here to talk about. There's enough of that already, and there are people who are very, very good at that. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of these people who could sit and like talk politics from an educated perspective, and everybody's willing to spout their 2 cents on a daily basis about whatever everyone's talking about that day. And this show isn't for that. We're just here to have fun. It literally is an escape. That's the reason, a big reason the show has stayed on Mondays, because I thought about moving it a couple of times, like Fridays. Like it started on Monday because I was doing it simultaneously with my first podcast, and that went on Friday. And I was like, well, let's not compete with that. Like that show's Fridays for the weekend, and then Monday start off the week with Cape. But people genuinely, the reason the show goes up at, at least the audio goes up at 6 a.m. on Mondays was because I was getting messages from people because it was going up just arbitrarily at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Not for any reason, but it was always 8 a.m. Eastern time. And I did get a few requests like, can you post it earlier? Because I like listening to it when I'm, Monday morning on the drive to work or when I'm getting ready for work or something like that. I'm like, oh, people like starting off their week with this. Great. And if they want that, if they want some laughs, if they want a little escapism, if they want the occasional knowledge drop or perspective, it's like, great. If that's what they want, cool. There's no reason the show can't go up early on Mondays, but I even like that that's part of the dynamic of the show. But that also made me feel like we can't stop doing it. No, people are depending on it kind of thing. Like people are saving stuff for your show. Like, well, you have to keep doing it, but it's worthwhile. I don't want it to suck. And it's not that it would necessarily suck, but I don't want it to feel like an obligation. I don't want it to feel like it's just like there's a grind element to it because that's not what this is for.
No, I
at this stage,
when I run into,
like I said,
when I run into like somebody from like high school or college I haven't seen in a while, it used to I was taken back by it at first, and then now I kind of just embrace it. When I run into them, it used to always trip me out because I wouldn't even bring it up. I'd just be like, yo, man, I ain't seen you in a minute. They'll be like, bro, so that podcast, man, you really, I'm just like, well, okay, I guess we're talking about this now. But
same. I never open with it either. But when someone comes up to you to talk about it, it's like, oh, wow, like someone who you know outside of
of this world, that
from your personal life, comes up.
That happened to me recently. Like a guy that a friend of mine that we haven't spoken in 2 years, but we recently reconnected. That was basically the first thing that he said. Like he was checking out my show, and he's actually been following. Like so, he actually showed me a snapshot of the podcast that he listens to the most. It's mine, Ben Shapiro, and Joe Rogan. Now I don't like being in the category of those guys, but I appreciate him listening to. But I appreciate him. Listening to my product nonetheless.
Right. Of course. And like similarly, there was a guy who I bumped into, a musician I know who was from Jersey and who had moved to Florida. And he was back up here. This must have been sometime last year. It was. And he came up to me. Like we were at the same event together. We were at a concert together. And he had seen me. And I was going to say hi to him anyway because I heard he was going to be there. I hadn't seen him in a while. And he comes up to me and of course reaches out to shake my hand. He was just like, dude, he's like, I've been working overnight at this place since I've been in Florida. And he's like, your show just carries me through. He's like, I'm listening to you. And then same, like 2 other shows that he listened to on a shift. Like he's gone back and listened to old episodes. He's listened to, episodes multiple times. He's just like, man, just keep doing what you're doing because it's great. He's like, it gets me through my shift overnight. And I'm like, damn, man, that's the whole idea. Is like if it's entertaining to people, like great, and if it's not based on the outrage of the week, like you get enough of that on social media and news and every other thing in your feed. That I'm like, oh, if we could just be entertaining, maybe with a splash of inspiration, great.
Right, and I also love how we are able. I truly feel like the 3 of us have been able to master making evergreen episodes. And to kind of give an example, so me and Ugo have we've done a sports show, Yo BTV Sports. People can still check it out right now. So every now and then I would re-listen to episodes that we had just done, and they're not relevant to the current time because already the event, the game already happened and everything. But I still enjoy listening to those episodes because of the fun and the camaraderie we had while making that episode.
Right.
So, but even though the game's already old and past and it's irrelevant anymore, the time that we had in the studio was I want to relive it again. So that's why every now and then I would listen to those episodes to be like, damn, that was so much fun.
Yeah, and that's why like I had, especially this past season, I've had him on my show a lot. This season, a bunch of episodes, probably like 3 or 4.
Oh yeah, I mean, understandably, you've been sports heavy.
Yeah, and it's just and it's just like because I realized that number one, those are. I get to do those with my friends, that I think that's probably number one.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Mongo isn't just my co-host. Mongo's like, that's my guy. We have a whole episode out in the parking lot before we even come in. We have another episode before we get in our cars,
right.
And leave. And, when I have Dez and I have Jason on, it's just like, we're talking shop. We're just talking ball. And it's entertaining because we're not trying to be funny. We're not trying to make you laugh. It's just that's how we view it. Like we're frustrated because of some nonsense,
right.
Or we're happy or excited because of this. And it's like there's always something to talk about.
And we can laugh at each other's pain also.
That as well.
As fans, as dedicated fans for your respective teams.
Like when Dez is talking about how much he hates that they have Daniel Jones as a quarterback, we're laughing at his pain.
But it's a genuine conversation.
Yes.
That's the other thing I've gotten. Because this show, doesn't have any kind of agenda. And I'm not just like patting myself on the back or anything, but it's one of those things that makes you, again, feel compelled to keep doing it. And you kind of, we don't see it for what it is because we create it. So we're never actually, we see it from the inside. Yeah. So we're not looking at it as just something else that we watch and follow.
Yeah, but I picked it up. Sorry to cut you off. But
no, it's okay.
I picked it up the first time you had me on your show way back, 2 years ago?
Just about. I think it was May.
Yeah.
I think it was May of 23. Yeah.
So first
strange.
And it was just, you were just like, listen, you're gonna be able to, like, this isn't Bravey Studios. That's how you set up. He was like, we're just gonna have at it. And you basically you weren't asking for my life story. That's not like how you teed it up or how you like presented it. But it's like you were genuinely interested in, like, okay, so how did you get from here to there to here to there? And then we just saw so many parallels because we had both, I don't want to say we lived the same life, but we saw a lot of, like, a lot of Spider-Man memes going on.
Yeah, we passed a lot of the same mile markers on the way to where we are today.
So it's just like and that's what a great podcast is, a great conversation.
Totally.
Like like if you're not having like real unfiltered, authentic conversations. If you're not having that,
should be a tagline.
If you're not having that,
man,
it's on the merch, baby. If you're not having that, man, I mean, what are you doing it for?
Well, exactly. That's it.
That's what I look at.
And that's something I feel like people don't, necessarily figure out until they start doing it. It's like, this is a skill. This is hard. You can't just sit and just, do a live stream and like, two people are watching, or like, smoke up or whatever. Like, you actually need to come in with some kind of idea. I mean, that's the whole thing. Everybody's just like, and I love how people think like weed is way legal. So the idea that you're smoking on a live stream is kind of meaningless these days. If you were ballsy enough to do that, 10 years ago, different story. But like now,
the shock effect's worn off.
Well, that's it. And I think there's those people try to have like that thing even. And, whatever, bless them if that's what they want to do. Yeah. But I also like the fact that, again, without there being an agenda, and the fact that there are evergreen episodes. I mean, that's the fun thing about the clips. Like, anytime I repost, the debate with my friends about, the better green Skittles flavor, lime or green apple, that was August of 2021. And that still, like, sparks conversation. Like, that still sparks debate. So even little things like that, and like, that's just one of however many. And I love that there are like those moments you can go back and just be like, oh, right, because we're not sitting here talking about like, whatever's going on at the time. And we did that in the past. One of the things I used to love doing in my first show was that we, the first show in January, we kind of recap the news from the previous year, like some major headlines, but some under the radar stuff that I thought was funny. And we actually did it on Cape 147, 148, whatever the first show was of 2021. We did recap stuff, non-pandemic news from 2020.
Yeah.
And like that was fun, but ever since then I'm like, okay. Again, that was something we kind of all experienced together, so it felt kind of relevant, and it was funny to talk about stuff, stories that kind of flew under the radar. But I think part of it is, like you can kind of always go back and revisit this episode, like different episodes rather, like you can of any show. I mean, while they may be of their time, in terms of like fashion or, technology or whatever, right. We may all be mic-less, in a couple of years they'll be like, remember when they had to use mics and pop filters and their hands kept whacking into the pop filters? Like that obviously is, the technology can change, the aesthetics can change, but the conversation, you can of course go back and revisit it. And that's actually one of the things when it comes to the necessity, if we're being honest, of doing stuff like putting out clips, because I've always come up against the idea of like, I don't want to feed the beast. I don't want to feel beholden to clips. And like even taking a break from that was something like, all right, everyone's just getting birthday reels in 2024. I'm not going to be putting out a bunch of clips every week because the show is not active. So people can go back and check out the old shows. But I'm like, I'm not going to put out like 3 clips a week and all of that, because that's its own, feels like its own creative practice.
That's its own beast in itself.
Yeah.
I didn't understand short form versus long form when I got into it, because I kind of had the moment you mentioned of like, I'm just gonna do this. Like I've been on enough podcasts, I've helped people out, I got to get my own solo thing going, right? So it's like, so then I started, and I'm just like, I can't be a hypocrite now. I can't just drop a full episode and just expect for everybody to just get on board.
Like, to dive into an hour with me.
Right.
With no context of
like
what.
You don't even know me or from a can of paint.
Exactly.
And a billion, trillion, zillion, trillion, billy, do this across the world. So
a bottomless pit of podcasts.
Right.
And like, why listen to mine?
So then, when I first started doing my shorts, I wasn't using AI. And then it was Marv actually. It was actually my photographer first, and then Marv, and then my brother. They would just say like, "Yo, bro, you better get into this AI thing." I'm just like, Skynet? Like, I'm not touching that shit, bro. They're gonna take over the world. Like Elon Musk is gonna freaking start the robo uprising. Like, I'm not doing that.
He hasn't already.
As long as there are humans in suits actually doing it, but
literally.
Yeah.
So then
there's our timely humor, everybody.
Then I was like, iRobot. I'm gonna be like Will Smith. So
drive an Audi. Drink Pepsi.
Have the chucks.
literally. But I did some research into it. I took some advice, and I found something that worked for me, and it's actually been a blessing. It's been a godsend, because it's like, when I do want to take a break, I'm like, all right, I don't want to record for, number one, I don't have the time to record,
of course,
between 3 different jobs. Like, I don't have the bandwidth to even turn it on and be that. Okay, I got reels going for the next month, the next 2 months.
Yeah.
That could just continue to feed it or whatnot. And then when I feel like posting on, TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter or whatever, I'll post it, whatever. But it's just like, that automated aspect has saved me so much time, so much headache, so much agita, like insert down. It's like, so, but again, if I was rigid and closed-minded, 2 things that I've always been against. Like you got to be open to new ideas and to new to different avenues that are going to challenge you and elevate you and push you what you're trying to do. So it's been really helpful. And then when people come to me with and ask me about starting a podcast or getting into it or whatnot, now that's the first question I ask them. Like we had mentioned in the pre-pod. Pre-pod, it was like, do you have 10 episodes? And number 2, do you understand the difference between short term and long term? Because if you don't, don't even bother. Save yourself.
Yeah.
Save yourself. Like, run.
Yeah.
Like, I'm John Connor from the future. Like, run. You see what I'm saying? Because it's
run from me if you want to live.
Exactly. Run from me if you want to live. Totally. So, but no, you have to adapt. You have to evolve.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to, or else you're hustling backwards, as
and
they would say.
It changes all the time too, because I did in 2023. Because I recently launched the Cape Clips channel, because now that's another thing where everyone's just like, oh, you should have your full-length shows on one channel and your clips on another one, because people are going to be drawn. Not everybody's going to be drawn to the short form, like the shorts, the reels, all that stuff. There are people who are just going to like those snippets, and there are people who are going to be down for the hour and a half show. And that makes sense to me. In my mind, most people's for a long time, it's just like, well, no, this is the channel where the show is. Everything involving the show goes on here. And now clip channels are a common practice. So even going through that, and I realized wow, I have 2023, I have over 100 reels that I cut just for 2023. And yes, those have been reposted along with, I started heavy 3 years ago in 2022, kind of when, I don't remember YouTube Shorts had really started at that point, but Instagram had pivoted to bite off of TikTok because they, started doing the short form vertical video. And I started really cutting them in 2022. And I've accumulated so many that I was just able to post those. And again, a lot of that stuff I found was wow, there's a lot of evergreen material here. But even now, there's been a pivot away from that, where even YouTube Shorts now are up to 3 minutes. And even some of the most viewed TikTok videos are up to 3 minutes. Not everybody's looking for the 10-second, not even set up joke, but just watch till the end, bullshit hook that everybody does. There's not even as much as that anymore. Much of that.
It's weird how the algorithm works sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's also people kind of don't want the quick hit necessarily. They want a little more context. They want more of a, not necessarily a monologue, but they want there to be a point to it, as opposed to just set up joke, so to speak. So for me, even kind of watching that, I'm like, oh, okay, because I have so many clips, and I'm like, all right, I just make this clip that was on the original YouTube channel, what's now the show channel. So I just make that vertical video, and it's the same thing. Yeah. So even watching kind of that change, it's just like, oh, okay. And yeah, it's helpful to have a library of clips that I could always kind of put out there, especially because even in 2023, I started reusing clips from early 2022, because I'm like, well, those have been buried so far down the feed, and you pick up so many followers that in my head I'm like, well, they're new clips to all these other people, and at the same time they didn't, I probably didn't have as much traction when I started posting short form as I do now. And it's interesting though, where even last year when I was taking a break, I kind of thought why? The original plan was well, I'll just keep putting out clips. And then I thought, well, to what end? Because I thought, is that all we're supposed to do? Is put out these short clips, put out 2-3 weeks? Which is so funny, because now the logic today is oh no, you should be putting out 2 to 3 reels a day. And I'm like, get fucked. I do not have The time, energy, the staff, none of it. Like, I'm not putting out 3 clips. No. 15 clips a week, no thanks. I mean, even with using AI, I'm like, all you're doing is oversaturating. And I'm not saying my way is the best, where I'm like, I'm manually editing, 2 to 3 shorts, clips a week, or, however many, and then save a few. So maybe I'll pull 5 clips from an episode. 2 or 3 will go up the week the episode goes out, and then I'll have, 2 to sit in the, in the chamber. But I'm like, all you're doing is oversaturating. You're making it worse. You're making it harder, because I know the logic is like, well, one of those clips is going to blow up. It's like, that could take 300 clips. It could still take you a year before anything blows up. And at the same time, I'm big on quality control. I realize there's a whole lot of, just keep pumping out clips. It's like, but to what end? So people can see snippets and maybe they'll follow and be interested in an hour and a half.
I think, now you go first.
No, I was going to say, I guess it really depends. You have to really master how to balance it, because if you're going to keep on pumping out that kind of content, make sure it's actually worthy of putting it out there.
Exactly.
As opposed to just putting it for the sake of putting it. There's a podcast that I won't mention their names, but they said that they just did a whole bunch of AI clips and then they just put them out on YouTube, not even try to edit them or whatever. They just had them as is with no context or whatever, put them out there, and they were able to actually accumulate millions of views on their YouTube, which is fine. Congratulations, it's an achievement, but it just doesn't seem like you're really caring about the quality you're putting it out there.
No, and at the same time, did that make a difference in terms of subscribers? And does that?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Right. And does that make a difference as far as people who actually check out the show itself? Like, if the point is just to get views on your clips, it's like, well, yeah, but that's not what I'm doing it for, just to get views in the clips. Like, ultimately, I want people to check the show out and enjoy the show.
Sure.
And I realize not everybody is going to do that, but I mean, okay, so you had a clip that hit 1 million views.
Yeah.
Like, how many followers did you pick up from that? Because Instagram will let you know now. How many would you say you picked up on? For your show accounts, I know it's you and your show, but do you know how many for your show accounts? Ballpark.
So for I put it out on as a collab between my main Instagram page and my podcast page, right?
Right.
So I gained roughly, ballpark wise, probably 1,000 followers.
Between both?
Between both, maybe about 2. Probably about 2.
So about 1,000 each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 1,000. So I think that's, I don't know, my math is going to be good. I should pull out a calculator and figure it out. But okay, so that's 0.1% of people who actually viewed it. Yeah. Actually were like, all right, I'm going to follow this.
Yeah,
thing,
but
I'm not saying negative. I'm just saying the idea of how that correlates with just keep putting shit out there and hopefully they'll follow you. And it's well, hopefully they will, but that's pumping a lot. I mean, to get to 1 million views is a lot anyway, especially for us who are not paying for advertising on a weekly basis.
But I'm glad you mentioned that. That makes my point. That's that I want to drive home. So it's I remember I watched a video a couple years ago about this guy who broke down how social media works in terms of marketing, and he's just insert influencer. If they make a post and they've got 10 million followers on Instagram, 10 million people aren't going to see that post.
Yeah,
and it's not. And we're talking a high end influencer. We're talking a high end figure or whatever. Because think about it, it's free to make an account on anything.
Of course.
You don't have to pay to make an account on TikTok or Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or anything. You don't have to pay to make it. It's free. So where's the rub? Where do they get their money? They get their money from the advertising.
Yeah.
So it's okay, I put this post out about cats playing in the woods or some shit like that. All right. I want 10 million people to watch it. You do? All right. So how long do you want this campaign to run? Through Instagram, because you can put $150 a day.
Oh yeah,
we'll push that shit out on all 7 continents for
everybody's feed,
and everybody's gonna see it, and you'll get your growth from it. You will, but you're gonna pay for it,
right?
Because that's how it works. It's still capitalism.
Without
At the end of the day, this isn't Michael Moore conspiracy or wild tinfoil hat shit, bro. Lizard people.
It is
Elon Musk. This is still America, and it's still capitalism.
It's still business. It's still an entire ecosystem based on views,
absolutely,
and likes,
when I
and engagement. That's ultimately
engagement. When I started working for Patrick Peterson and Brian McFadden on their NFL podcast, like they had no idea. First of all, they were monetized. They didn't even know they were monetized. They were still doing episodes on Zoom. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I get there and I'm just like, yeah, guys, like, there's other programs. There's Riverside. There's StreamYard. Like, you guys don't need a studio. You're both millionaires.
Right.
Like, you're good and everything. But
this can be
this can look and sound a lot
with
better.
Minimal work, you can level up in a huge way.
Yeah,
sure.
We can absolutely do this. And they were supposed to have somebody in CBS Sports or network, because that's the network they were on, that was supposed to be doing this for them. But they obviously wasn't, because I'm looking at the product and I'm just like, this is crazy. But what I'm saying is, like, to your point though about feeding the beast or feeding the algorithm, because that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
What it is it's 100% what Jay said. It's finding a balance. It's finding what works for you. It's just like a workout regimen. It's just like a diet. It's just like, I like traveling. All right, I want to travel once a year. I want to travel twice a year. That's good for me. And then you'll tell that to somebody else. They'll be like, I want to travel 10 times a year. Like, so you got traveling 10 times a year kind of money and time? Is your job going to give you 10 vacations? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, what works for you? What works for what you're trying to do and trying to accomplish.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's finding that balance. I just know for me, it's like, when I put an episode out, I automatically have a plan of how I'm going to distribute it. I have an idea of, okay, this is how it's going to eat and survive on YouTube. This is what I'm going to do daily on my regular socials, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. I don't really post on Facebook because I go on Facebook to talk to my friends, really.
Right.
I don't, like, that's like the one I kind of want to keep. Like, okay, that's social media. That's for me to talk to people or whatnot. I don't want to really bombard people with, the podcast guy. You know what I mean? The content guy.
My friends are people actually, like Facebook friends, people I actually know in real life. Like,
yeah.
People I have personal relationships with.
Same here.
Exactly.
I don't have 5,000 friends.
Like, I wish Instagram could be that for me, but I make content. It really can't be that. No. I mean, if I had a burner account, maybe. But I don't really believe that. But it's just like, but the fact that because I have my Instagram, I got my podcast Instagram. 2 of the companies I work for, they gave me their Instagrams to run now. Right. So it's just like I'm in charge, and I've got all this work and power at my fingertips.
Right.
But at the same time, like you got to find that balance. You got to find what works for you and what you're trying to do with your product and your content, and your message.
Well, and that's why, I mean, again, I like personally editing the clips. I think the episode trailers capture the vibe of the show. I think that really lets you know, like,
it's top tier work.
Well, thanks. I feel like it kind of gives you a sense of the show, like a vibe of like what the episode's going to be. Yeah, a lot of times it's like funny lines and whatnot, or like snippets, out of context bits of funny conversations or funny quotes, but it's like, well, that lets you know kind of what the episode is. So if you think this minute is funny, come check out the full episode. So even in terms of that, which I'm told other shows do it, and I'm not surprised, because again, bottomless pit of podcasts out there. But I feel like that is at least a way of advertising the show, and just like, okay, well, if you're into this, hey, check out the show. More than like just trying to bombard people with like, here's a clip. And also, I think I want to ask you guys about this, because this was something, even last year, I wasn't questioning. Again, I wasn't going to give up doing Cape or anything like that, or these other potential projects that I was pitched, because I get, and I don't mean it this way, but like I get asked to join people's podcasts all the time. Like that happens a lot. I'm sure you guys get it too, where it's like, hey, I'm starting a show, you want to be part of it? And
that's how my all started.
Yeah, well, that's
like literally. So,
but now like you have your style.
Yeah,
you have a public profile and all that. Now it's a different thing. People are approaching you because they want what you bring to the table.
Yeah,
and I feel like, in a lot of ways, now more than ever, podcasts are like the bottom rung of the show business ladder. It's like everybody's entry point, where like anytime somebody has any kind of public profile, we'll give them a podcast. you know, and I feel like it's not off-putting to me, but I feel like it kind of cheapens it as like a format. Like it almost seems like a joke. I mean, honestly, when the Hot Tua girl is just like, we're going to give her a podcast. It's a girl said one funny line once while she was drunk into a microphone.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, again, she got the winning lottery ticket. And look, I'm not picking on her specifically. I feel sorry for her because she was obviously taken for a ride by these other people who just used her to scam people out of their fake money. But I mean, at the same time, I get it from her perspective because it's like, well, she got a winning lottery ticket. Yeah. It wasn't even something she embraced. That she like hid away from it for like 2 weeks. Like she didn't want the attention from like, oh my God, I said this, spit on that dick when I was drunk. Like I don't, And then all of a sudden it was, it did go viral, and apparently her friends had said to her just like, no, you should like capitalize on this, and that's what everybody does now. Like the Cash Me Outside girl, It's like there's so many examples of that, or Chewbacca mom. I mean, there's always one where it's like, oh, that's your thing. I still don't understand why Jim Gaffigan didn't advertise Hot Pockets, but whatever. But anyway, I don't begrudge her. I'm not getting on a soapbox specifically about her, but like that's the thing where it's like, here's someone who's not pursuing this, who's not trying to be a broadcaster, didn't necessarily aspire to do this, but it's like, we're going to give her all these resources to do it. Boom, you host a show now, which obviously has disappeared in light of her obviously getting fleeced by these people.
Yeah.
But I look at it as like, in a way, it makes podcasting like a joke. When it's like, oh, that's what you give somebody who's like starting out in show business, so to speak. But at the same time, you're seeing like established people who are doing it as well. I mean, that's so much of when I open up this, the SiriusXM app, so much of it is about podcasts and podcasters who are, now shows are available. Even shows I subscribed on podcast apps. I had subscribed to them. Now it's like, well, no, you can stream them on SiriusXM though. And it's like, oh man, this is actual radio that has just become, live streaming of a channel of podcast. I mean, honestly, I even thought about doing that myself. I'm like, should I always have the Cape YouTube channel be live and always be playing an episode so people can like tune in? Or something like that, because I'm like, well, that's legitimately like a channel. But then that means, you're not posting the stories, and then people say like, well, live is, this, or well, you don't really post the stories on YouTube, but like on Instagram, obviously, you couldn't necessarily do it. But I don't know. It just kind of makes me look at it. It's not that, I consider us or what we do to necessarily be like a joke or like, bottom rung or anything like that. But I feel like that, unfortunately, that's a perception in a lot of ways. It's like, oh, that's what people do just when they're not really, doing something. Because so many shows are just people getting together for, and I'll take, I'll own up to part of this. Like a lot of podcasts are a lot of guys broing around. It's like, okay, there is a lot of that where they have nothing to talk about. But at the same time, it's also because they're not trying to appeal to anybody beyond the people in the room.
Right.
And that's a big problem.
Echo chambers.
Yeah. It's a big problem with a lot of shows. Or they go in with a point of view and just try to capitalize on, whatever political point of view or outrage du jour.
Or it's both, where they mix the two, where they initially start off with a point, but then afterwards they go way off track because they're just they don't know what they're doing, honestly. They just don't.
Oh, I've unfollowed and unsubscribed from a lot of people who like at some point took a turn where they're like, oh, this is where it goes. Like I've seen a lot of people post-election, even post-inauguration, like suddenly like tailor their stuff to be kind of more political or more about what's going on in the news, and I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. Like, I'm out.
That's what the algorithm.
I know somebody like.
It's like you get rewarded for that, and I get if you're getting views and everything. Like I get the temptation.
That's the only reason, dude.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it to a point. Look, there was a moment where I thought, this is now 2 years ago. I did an episode. Myself and Mind Minx, and talking about dating and getting back out there, in your 40s, and like this whole new navigating this whole dating scene. And like literally every clip I put out had over 15,000 views on every platform.
Yeah.
And it would have been and a lot of engagement. And it would have been really tempting to pivot to that and be like, okay, I have these, next 2-3 shows lined up, but then I'll do another episode about like it'd be very easy to kind of lean into that because that's what's getting attention. But then I thought that's not my thing though. I don't want that to define me. But a lot of people do it.
You still have the highest viewed YouTube short on my channel. When we did the guys episode.
Oh yeah.
With you, me, Kellen, love you, Gallic, and you were talking about.
It was the foodie call? Isn't
not
that
the foodie call?
Oh, okay.
Foodie call. You were talking about.
Not a lot of people asked me about that. I had a lot of messages.
That one was pretty up there too. But I think you were talking about what the average income.
Right. Women,
that
women want 6 foot, six pack, six figures.
Right.
Yeah.
And you broke it down. You were so thorough. You broke it down by age, by demographic, like height, the whole nine. It got like 11,000 views on that one. It's still. I looked into my my stats, and I'm just like, it's still that one,
dude. That's a really hot, because it's a polarizing topic. It is something. It is. Like, that's why there's so much relationships stuff that's out there, and there, people literally do like 6-hour podcasts, shows that will remain nameless, where they have a panel of 19 people, everyone yelling at each other, and they find the dummest people possible to be part of it, which is the whole angle.
That's the whole point.
Is dudes talking down to young women, but I understand the temptation to lean into that, but I'm like, again, I'm not trying to make that my thing, but it's. Unfortunately, I mean, it's not like, every dopey TV show looks like. It's not like anybody said, oh man, Tom Green's really stupid, I'm going to stop watching Friends. It's not like, I don't like this TV show, so TV sucks. But I feel like, because podcasting is so accessible and a way for so many people to get in, I feel like when that's kind of the go-to for people who don't necessarily want to do it. And like, a lot of actors have turned toward it, and it's, some of them have struck huge deals doing it. Yeah. And it's kind of like, wow, I mean, I'm of two minds about it, because I'm like, wow, man, that kind of sucks, because like, you kind of already have your own thing. But at the same time, they're not working to the same degree they used to, and they're not getting paid in the same way they used to. So as much as you could say like, oh man, that's not cool, it's like, well, they come in with an audience. When somebody sees, and I'm singling them out for negative reasons, just purely for an example, like when someone sees Ted Danson and Woody Harrelson are doing a podcast together, they're like, I love Cheers, I'm going to go check that show out. And it's like, sure, why not? I get why they would do that, because it's not like, TV and film is paying the way it did even, 10 years ago.
Yeah, no.
Even 5 years ago, everything has changed. So it's like, well, you can't begrudge them for trying to turn it into something cool. Or certainly, Smartless is the biggest example of that.
Right. I was just thinking about Smartless.
Yeah, those dudes got a huge deal, and like most people started doing it during the pandemic so they wouldn't go crazy. Yeah. Because they couldn't work. And it turned into this whole other thing. And it's easy to say like, oh, but those guys are actors and they got careers and they're rich and all this other shit. So it's very easy to kind of get down on people who turn to podcasting, again, at every level, and just be like, oh, everyone thinks they can do this. But I can't hold it against people who decide to do it on that level, because it's just like, hey man, you got an audience, good for you.
And I realized that when I was working on Fly on the Wall with David Spade and
Dana Carvey.
It's like,
even that they evolved into something else now. It's not Fly on the Wall. It's now, they pivoted away from just SNL talk. Because you can only go so far with it. I get it. But anyway, go ahead.
But it's right on brand with the Woody Harrelson reference.
It's like, I know those dudes.
It's like, like these guys, like they come in with an audience already. They're there like, oh, I love the church lady. Or I love Joe Dirt.
I love Tommy Boy.
It's like, so it's, but that's not realistic though. That's why I try to explain to people.
Yeah, these dudes. They built themselves up in another area already. They didn't start from this and oh, now they're killing it on podcasting.
Like when I was working in Odyssey, I'll never forget this, man. This was like the first few months. Like I was just given a task to. Ellen Pompey has a podcast, and I didn't know who the hell that was.
Grey's Anatomy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I didn't know who she was. I don't watch Grey's Anatomy, and so I listened to it. First, I did the task was just to listen to like 2 or 3 of her podcasts, give some constructive criticism.
Sure.
So first, I listened. Gave my notes, and I found out, who is this person? Like, why? Who is she, and why should I care? And I'm just like, the lead from Grey's Anatomy. And I go on her socials, and I go and a cult billions followers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, of course, every woman under the age of 65 watches the show.
It's a soap opera at this
literally
point. It's like General Hospital in primetime.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, someone like her, maybe she wasn't looking to do it, but she probably got approached with the show.
I guarantee
she probably got an offer. Let me do.
Her manager was just like, listen, hey, so and so wants to throw $10 million at you if you want to free up some time. And it was during pandemic too. Right. So it was like toward the end of the pandemic, so like 2021.
Right, and someone said, how can we make money? Oh, let's get the lead from Grey's Anatomy, do a podcast, and make money from that.
I'm listening. I listened to about 2 or 3 different episodes. She had one of her co-stars on one episode. Naturally. Another one, she's talking to this like author who's an actual doctor, an actual physician.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Within the realm of what the audience would be into.
Exactly. And I'm listening and I'm just like, yo, she's so cringe how she interrupts her guests.
Yeah.
And I had to put that in my notes. And I was just so honest. I'm just like, her guests were really talking about some good stuff, man. They had some really good points, but I'm just like, she needs to let her guests be great. She needs to listen, you're Ellen Pompeo, like you won. Like it's
exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we get it. Like they're there because of you, but you're there to like listen to them and like let them get their points off. Like every 5 seconds. So totally. Oh yeah, so what I would do, and I'm just like, I'm listening to it. I'm just like, yo, this is so bad.
Because it's hosting and interviewing is a totally different skill.
It's a skill.
Totally
it's an art. It's a skill and it's an art. Bro.
Yes, you're right. It is both.
It was.
It is both.
It was rough, man.
No,
I don't know if she's still doing it. She probably is, but because I don't work.
They're throwing her money.
Well, that's it. And you know what? But it's not even. It's not regarded as contrived in any way because now everything's considered a brand. I remember Bill Burr was on Chaz Palminteri's podcast about it, talking about like that's been the weirdest thing to see happen. It used to be like, oh, you're a sellout because you're doing a commercial and blah blah blah. It's like now everything's about embracing being a brand and getting the money and
Wayne's
all
World.
of that.
Wayne's World.
Yeah, that was the ultimate parody of that. But I mean, I feel like the change. I think I said this a couple of years ago, but I feel like that changed when McConaughey did the Lincoln commercial after winning the Oscar. And I feel like at that point, because celebrities always, you see all those commercials like Schwarzenegger did in Japan and shit.
Yeah.
Like back in the 90s for huge money. Because it's like, no one's ever going to see these. And I feel like that was the first one where everybody looked as like a film actor, like doing crazy commercials. And ever since then, it's like, Jennifer Garner could do Capital One commercials, Sam Jackson do Capital One commercials. And
Bryan Cranston does every now and then.
Exactly. And, Kevin Hart can do, gambling app commercials and shit. It's like, and nobody cares about it. And that's fine. And, there's a part where, again, I get it, but it gets crazy at a certain level where I'm just like, oh my God, everyone's just trying to sell you something. I mean, it's ridiculous. To me, it is over the top when you're using. I mean, content is corporate speak. Everyone's adopted it because they heard it so much. Like content and algorithm is like corporate. That's not how people talk. The idea that a podcast and an Instagram story and a chick selling photos of her feet on OnlyFans is all considered content is like it's a little stupid because we're all looking at anything anybody creates as the same thing and it's not.
No.
So anyway, when you have something like, when The Rock posts about Red Notice, or I'm sorry, Red One, the other streaming movie he made that people watched once and forgot about right away, where he talks about like multiple verticals and shit like that. It's like, what the fuck? Like, that's some of the worst. It's like, that's some of the worst branding, corporate, like nonsense. And you're just like, we made a great movie and there's many ways to make more money off of this silly concept in the future. I'm like, oh, everybody's just shameless about that now. It's so weird. I mean, look, I resisted the merch thing for a long time, which now there's Cape merch because enough people have asked for it where I'm like, okay. And same with ads. We talked a little bit in the pre-show about ads. Yeah. Speaking of which now, hey, guess what's back? The Cape Patreon. So you can subscribe to that down below. Link to that. Support us on Patreon. A mere $5 a month. We're starting small. You're going to get exclusives. There's a hell of a long pre-show. Basically like a bonus episode, honestly, from before we started this. So instantly, you got your money's worth for the first month based on that alone. I will say that. It's literally like an episode. It's probably about an hour. So
an hour and a half.
Yeah. So go get at that. But I resisted that because I'm like, I'm so sick of everybody selling everything. Like everything's a sponsored post. Everything's a paid partnership. Everything is like, every post somebody has is just like, I don't know. I was just tired of seeing it. Again, commercials are fine, but I just feel like everything is ultimately selling you something. And frankly, that's what everybody who gives advice about your YouTube channel or your Instagram and all of that. And same with the people who are saying, like, got to pump out 3 reels a day because it's like, build your brand. Link them to your site so you have sales leads and all that. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm trying to make people laugh. Like, ultimately, I want to do other things and do, voiceover and filmmaking and all these other things that I do get paid for. But
when it starts to feel like a job.
Well, that's it. But also, something about it still feels icky to me. The money part in that blatant way just feels icky. I'm not crazy about that. So I have mixed feelings. I've always had problems between the creative and the business element of it. Even back from when I was doing music, I always feel weird about that. But like now that everyone's so blatant about it, I don't know. It's just it's mixed feelings.
It's finding a happy medium.
For me, it's like here's where I'm at with it. It's like, I'm not going to turn down the offer, but you're not going to make me send for my supper either.
Totally. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's part of, and part of it I realize also just makes me sound out of touch like a grumpy old man, which actually is a great unintentional segue. into, and I feel like that. It's just like, oh, whatever. It's like you pure artist or something like that. No, I do feel a little like old man. It's just like, oh, people are making money off that. I have no problem with people making money off the stuff they do. Yeah. But I will say, I've had moments where I felt a little bit older recently, and I kind of want to ask you guys about that, and especially now that we've known each other a couple of years.
Sure.
Because I had.
It's the beard. It's 100% the beard.
It's the beard. It's
what the hell is this?
With spritzes of gray mixed in. It's the beard.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the beard, it'd just be like I met you 2 years ago.
Well, honestly, thanks. Number one, the beard does make. I feel like the beard makes me look my age. I will say that. I do think it does add years, whereas my face otherwise looks pretty. But it's pretty unchanged from a couple
years ago.
There's
going to be a Just for Men tab underneath the entire time of this podcast.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. It's a fine service. Mm-hmm. It's a fine tool for men. No, it's okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to need it in like 20 years.
Maybe. Listen, I already got the grays edging on the sides, which I'll admit I put some topical something on there. You know, otherwise, I'd look like Dr. Strange. I literally have or Polly Walnuts. If I let it go, I'm sure in a couple of years I'll have wings like this. But I'm not there yet. So I'll say I do some superficial like coloring in the hair, just topical stuff, just to even out the grays, because I'm like I'm not quite there yet. I'm not down for the silver fox thing just yet. And I even said like when the grays take over, I'm cutting the hair short again. But I realized I'm not saying I'm Jeff Bridges, but he makes the long gray hair look really good. Yeah. So I'm like now that I have a reference point for like you can actually look cool with long gray hair. Maybe I'll stick with it.
Yeah, either definitely go for the Jeff Bridges, but stay away from the George Lopez. So
yeah, that looks a little unkempt. Yeah. Nowadays he just looks like he just woke up.
Yeah,
or he looks like
probably did.
Or Robin Williams and Jumanji. What year is it? Yes. With the long hair and the beard and everything. It's like, oh my god.
Yep.
Who is that? Someone unfroze George Lopez.
Hilarious.
One of the nicest guys I ever saw out and about in Hollywood, though. I will say that. Okay. Anyway, so. All of the things about getting older and feeling your age and all that, I say it's because I slipped and fell twice on ice.
I remember one of them.
I know one of them. Yeah,
in December and then again in January, both outside the house and in the driveway where I couldn't see it.
Were you Harry or Marv?
Well, no, it wasn't like cartoonish, like
okay.
Where I was like, you can't see my legs below the table, but obviously I'm like kicking them wildly, trying to stay upright
with the sound effects and everything.
No, but it was literally just like took a step and nothing to stop it. I was just like, I'm fucked. But at this point, I'm at the age where there's that moment when I'm sliding on it, I think I'm gonna die. This is the end.
This is how we're doing it in the driveway.
Because when I watched those videos, there were tons of them in January because the winter was so harsh and there was ice and we did have quite a bit of snow, even small patches. But it was so cold that it led to ice. There were so many videos that were circulating about people slipping on ice and whatnot, and just watching those make my back hurt. Like I'm at the point where like they're not funny anymore. I'm just like, ooh, like I'm not laughing. Like I feel their pain. I feel like that's a side effect of getting older. Do you guys have stuff like that? And I have another one too that I want to throw out there. If you guys have I'm calling them old man habits. You guys are in your 30s, but still, you're already on the wrong side of 35. So, you're closer to me than you think.
Wrong side.
But I started, it's mostly from when I travel, but I've started using it at home. I have a pill box. A Sunday to Saturday pill box.
Yeah, my dad has
it. Yeah, exactly. Like for medications I take daily, but also for vitamins to make sure I just take everything I take on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So I don't forget. Like it was handy for traveling, for like going away for a couple of days, just to make sure. I mean, it's better than packing a bunch of bottles, obviously. So it started as convenience, but I'm like, this is a good strategy. This is a good idea. So I'm gonna admit, I'm old man as far as that goes for sure. Do you guys have stuff you're recognizing? Like, I guess I'm at this stage of life now, aren't I?
I definitely have a couple.
Okay.
I've got a few.
All right, go ahead.
Do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
All right, so
polite. Politeness wins.
Yes.
In 2025 on Chris Aballo's podcast experiment. Go ahead.
So first and foremost, I never used to be a nap guy, and especially in my 20s, I was never a nap guy. I was that stupid old kid. I'll sleep when I'm dead. But now
I didn't sleep till I was 30. Right. So I get it.
So I need a goddamn nap at least half an hour to maybe an hour a day, even if I've already worked a long day, even if I'm not working, which I'm currently not, and even I still need naps. So that goes to show how I am getting older.
Yeah, biologically, there's something that wasn't there a couple of years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I need certain things. Like now I'm actually taking multivitamins now because I noticed that my body can't really overcome some of the ailments that happens every now and then, like just like, aches and pains, so on and so forth.
Yeah, you don't bounce back as quick.
Right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
and I sometimes with my immune system, I noticed that if I had like a cold or a fever 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was good with like in a day or two. Now it takes almost nearly half a week for me to finally get better.
Oh, dude, I had 2 colds in 2024.
Yeah.
I maybe got COVID again, but I'm like, I used to get a cold like when the seasons changed in like September to October. Like that, when the temperature drops, like that would just affect my immune system in whatever way, and I get a cold for like a week. I actually got 2 colds, and not even during that time frame, like I normally do every year. And yeah, same. They both took like a week and didn't bounce back as quickly. And I'm like, God, like, is this the standard now? Is this what I'm going to deal with from now? Like, am I just that much more susceptible? Like, it honestly freaked me out because and even like with COVID, with 2020, 2021, there was something I didn't get the usual annual cold in September, October during those 2 years because I'm like, I guess I wasn't around people that much. So that could be something. But yeah, the bouncing back, I've definitely noticed that for sure.
And then the final 2 things I would say is I actually have a meme that I shared earlier. I'll share with you guys.
Okay.
And this is from a mentality standpoint.
All right.
According to Vice, millennials have discovered that quote unquote going out sucks. Meaning I gotta pay to get in, I gotta pay for gas, I gotta pay for drinks or for food, and I have work in the morning tomorrow. No, you can keep it. So that's my mentality now. So I don't give a damn about FOMO anymore. Like, oh, you guys, I don't feel guilty or some kind of way that I wasn't invited or anything like that. Like, I'm cool. I'm fine with just being home,
dude.
And then finally, it's. I don't have any children of my own, at least not that I know of. But there's, but it's the.
Where's the drop, Steve? Sorry,
down to Marco.
Where you at, bro? Man,
you're having Steve withdrawals right now.
I am. I need him.
Waiting for it.
Yeah, but it's interacting with this younger generation. It seems like for music, for example, I feel like I don't understand this new wave of hip hop now because I've always been a hip hop head. But now I feel like if I'm showing somebody hoes in different area codes, I might as well be talking about the Civil War.
Yes. Oh God, yeah. No regard for any music.
Civil War is insane.
Dude. But no, there is a thing when it comes to film and when it comes to music, it's like they have no awareness about anything that happened before they showed up.
Right.
Like I've run into that a lot. All the more reason I feel like old man Potter so many times. And I'm just like, when they say like Katniss in Hunger Games was the first female hero ever. It's like, no, actually. There's a movie called Alien from 1979 that, Ripley, maybe you heard. Oh no, sorry, you haven't seen an alien movie ever. It existed. Or like Xena. Like you could point to so many like female heroes.
Yeah.
Or like Wonder Woman was the first female super. No, she wasn't the first female superhero ever.
Right.
Yeah. I'm saying in movies like the 2017 Wonder Woman. That I agree with. And
I remember being on I remember being on a set where I'm acting and I'm directing, and at the moment somebody said Riz, I felt the arthritis already kicking in.
Oh, dude. I know. It's just like I don't understand this world.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It left me behind, which is fine. You all can have it.
Yeah, I was on an IG Live with my friend Kim. Shout out to Kim, and her 2 daughters just happened to jump on, and they said that they wanted to see my Riz, and I had no idea what the fuck they were talking about.
Like, I left my shirt up. Like, what are we? What is it?
Am I supposed to do a gang sign or some shit?
I don't.
What are we doing here?
I don't understand. I mean, they're definitely under 18. I don't know. I don't know what it is they're asking for.
They're 8 and 4.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's a little weird that they know what Riz is.
Yeah,
like you're so dialed into dudes who shop at Costco.
When I saw, and I'll get to you, Ugo. I'm sorry for taking up your time.
Take your time.
Take your time. But I remember years ago when I saw.
That's an old man thing. Years ago.
Back in my day. When I saw a 6 or 7-year-old girl dancing and singing to "I'm in Love with the Coco," I'm like, this is where our society is going.
Yeah. That was the sign.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, we hit the fork in the road and we went the other way.
It was at that moment.
What fork?
Yeah.
What's a computer?
Exactly. Wait a minute, they have phones and booths now? It's like one of those moments. What is this?
You used to write letters?
Yeah.
What's that?
What's a pen pal?
What's a pen?
Yeah, what's a pen?
What's this on the back of the TV? That's the rest of the TV.
Oh, God.
Right? Yeah, it's furniture. That's not a TV. What about you, dude? How are you feeling old these days? How you feeling your age?
Oh, God. Where do I start? Like, we got time?
Go for it, man.
We can start right there at naps.
Okay.
If I'm not taking a nap, I'm not going out,
dude.
I'm not like I'm going to go to the city for my birthday tonight. Mm-hmm. And when I get home, I'm going to turn everything off. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take a nap, and I'm not driving. Driving in New York?
No.
Are you kidding me?
Especially with the tolls now?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yes. Like, I drove into the city the other day for a surprise birthday party. I had no choice for. And, God, I wish I didn't. Because
it sucks.
Because it sucks. And parking garage as well.
Oh, yeah.
God.
So, but no, I mean, naps are mandatory.
Yeah.
I hate the way kids dress. Like, I hate everything about it. I hate that they wear Crocs with everything.
Yes. Oh my God.
That they wear Ugg slides with everything.
Yeah.
Yeezys. First of all, Yeezy makes awful clothing. I've been saying this for years. Like, I love Kanye. He's like my guy. Like, I'm sorry. I love
a point.
I love the before the host took over his body, like Westworld.
Thank you for the first 4 albums.
Yeah, exactly. But I just never got into his fashion. I never did. I never will.
Right.
So I love wearing joggers, but I don't wear them everywhere. Yeah. Like, I hate that every single time I see a kid from high school or middle school or grade school, they're in a hoodie, Uggs, pajama pants.
Why
is that a thing?
I was in the gym today, and they were dressed like that.
Yeah, there are kids. I see them all the time. Go to the gym in Crocs, and I'm like,
when I do a lot of solo movie outings for myself and whatnot.
Yes, I do that too. I love it. It's great.
It's the best. It's always a ton of kids from high school or on break from college, and they're all in pajamas. Some of them bring pillows with them to the theater.
Oh, that's just a fucking child then. No. That's like, not okay.
I'm like,
you're not at home, kid.
Like, I hate the way they dress. I hate. Oh God,
you're right. No, the pajama pants I don't get. The Crocs, there's nothing. I mean, I could say there's nothing worse, but I've never had VD. But there's nothing worse when you see a cute girl. She's got her, her face looks good, her hair looks good, she's got a great outfit, and she's wearing Crocs. Yeah. And I'm like, you fucked up. Like, you're fucked up from the ankles up, great, but it's like you thought
exactly.
You thought gardening shoes for overweight people was like, that's what this outfit needs. Like, I'm not saying she needs to walk around in heels or anything. I'm not saying that, but I'm like, Crocs, I said it years ago, and it's still true. Like, Crocs were for people who were too fat to wear regular shoes.
Yeah,
or people who've given up on life.
Yeah, or if you work in a hospital, you're a nurse or whatever, croc it up. Like,
even the people working at the stands in the mall, fine, you're on your feet all day, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, just to like for every day.
But for a fashion sense? No.
Well, when it's people our age, it actually does make me mad. Like, because I think if you're wearing the same footwear that an 8-year-old thinks is cool, you're fucked up. No. I'm not on board with that. I'm like, at a certain age, the Crocs thing needs to just stop with it. Adults wearing Crocs, they're so comfortable. Shut up. They're shoes.
Put some shoes on.
Like, get some fucking shoes on.
Yeah.
Bonnets.
I feel like I'm walking out a cloud.
No, bonnets.
Your head's
like, why are you wearing a bonnet at Walmart?
Like, I see a lot of women out in bonnets. I feel like that's a post-quarantine thing.
That's got to be.
Yeah,
that's got to be. But it's not just the bonnet. They have the full bonnet. They have the at-home uniform. They got the bonnet. They're still in pajamas and fuzzy slippers, and you're at Walmart. You're at Target. I'm just like,
yeah. The fuzzy slippers wearing them out, I don't get what that is. Like, that never complements an outfit, even if you're wearing the pajama pants.
Like, bro,
that does not help.
Like, all these places deliver now, right? Like, you don't have to leave.
You don't have to. You don't have to go out for this stuff.
You didn't have to roll out of bed and grab your keys and then just go to the store or whatnot.
They didn't. They Ubered there anyway. But it's like, why spend the money? Stay home, be comfortable.
Like, you look crazy.
Sit home on your fat ass and have your stuff delivered to you.
It's
fine. It's fine.
Oh, there's like, I've got others. Go ahead, others, man. I'm with you on the music too.
I will say this for nostalgia. I'll say that part has changed for me because, like, here's an example. Okay. I was listening to Sirius XM in the car. I put on 90s on 9, and what comes on? The Dip by Freak Nasty. Oh, now that's a song.
Classic.
When it was
classic,
but when it was new, I hated it. Yeah. It would get played at all the dances. If there was a party And it came on.
What's he doing these days?
Who knows? He's touring with Afro Man. No. Doing a retro tour. But if it was playing at a party and it would come on, all the girls go, ah! And they were all birds, by the way. But I'd just leave because I'm like, I hate this song.
Sounded like birds that call.
And, but the other day, I put on Sirius XM 90s on 9 and it comes on and I'm, as I'm driving and I'm listening to it and I'm thinking about what a better time the 90s was.
Yeah,
I didn't even like this song. Like it literally was. I would change the station, or I'd go to the restroom if it was like a school dance or something. And song because I think it was in middle school and that song came out. I forget exactly what year it was. But yeah, man. But the other day I listened to it. I'm just like, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
That's such a weird moment.
That's how
I realized nostalgia has taken over.
That's how I felt with Little John at the time. Like I felt like I can't take any more of this crunk shit. It's too much of it. Mm-hmm. Now it comes up on my Spotify playlist and like, damn, those were the times.
Yeah, we had it so good in 04. We didn't realize it.
Ski, 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 ski. Bring it back.
It's funny, right? But it is like you realize, like, oh, I'm nostalgic for this time, so it's not that bad.
No, wait,
I had that moment last week when Freak Nasty came on, and I'm like, get out of here! Like I used to hate this song.
It's a great song. It was a booty call, one of my favorite movies.
Oh my god, it was, wasn't it? Oh, okay, so I was in high school then. Yeah, I was in high school when it came out.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I was in elementary. Sorry,
you had a lot of the same ones I did, man. Like the way these kids talk. Because again, I work with children for on tour with the Wizards. Mm-hmm. It's just like. I mean, first of all, they all want to hear the song "Fiend" by Travis Scott. Like
I don't know that song.
I mean, if you watch anything
Shocking,
with Pepsi, you watch a Pepsi commercial, a Coke commercial, or
really?
anything, you've heard it. You've heard it. I mean, and it's like I have to put it in my playlist like to end the show now because throughout the entire 2 hours they're coming up to me mid game like, so can you play Fiend? Like, dude, can you play Fiend? Or can you play whoa, whatever that is.
Oh,
like,
I know they're white kids, so you're asking, can you play Fiend?
Can you play Fiend? Yes. White kids are asking me, can you play Fiend? Or I'm in the thick of it. Can you play I'm in the thick of it? And I'm just like, I don't know what any of this is, and I gotta look it up and then I'll play it.
Dude, I was driving.
It's like,
Dude, I was driving Uber one day and I had these 3 white teenagers in the back seat, and it was very odd for them to ask me to play Playboy Cardi. It was very, very weird.
I love Playboy Cardi.
I know. I just didn't expect that from them. You know.
I do. It's weird, but it's weird though. It's weird because. It's a dichotomy. So yeah, I've got my old man moments about my music, about the way I dress, what I like to eat, what I like to watch, where I like to be. But like some of the new stuff I dig, I like. Like there's this brand of music called Sexy Drill. I swear it's all it is drill music and R&B music from the 90s. R&B sampled over it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes. Okay. I didn't know that was what it was called.
That's what it is.
Okay,
so Cash Cobain, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys.
Okay. I'm very familiar.
Yes. So yeah, I listen to that shit all the time because because I think a big reason why is because I love 90s R&B.
Well, yeah,
and if you're just remixing it and throwing some drill drums over it and some nonsensical verses and bars or whatever, I'm still hearing the Tyrese snippet, the Genuine snippet. I'm still hearing what I grew up in middle school listening to, and I'm still vibing. I like Playboy Cardi. I don't know what the fuck he's saying half the time. But the beat,
I don't think he does either.
I don't think he does either. I think he's high. But it's like, but the beats go dumb. Like the production is really good and it's catchy. It's catchy.
Right.
He's got a song with The Weeknd. He's got a song.
Oh yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, I dig it. So it's like some of the new age music, for instance, some of the new age music is dope. Like but the clothes, you're never gonna see me caught dead in anything.
No, not in public in pajama pants.
No, we're not doing that. And the fashion, like the big oversized boots, the oversized chains, or the oversized pants, or the dog collars, or like the weird it's weird. It's like emo is so back now.
Yeah,
like it's super back, and it's like we're talking like the hood version of emo.
Yes.
And
for sure.
So it's like you got the white kids dressing in emo, but they want like the hood Playboy Cardi version of it now with like super like with the gauges and
tats on the
face and like colorful dreadlocks. I'm talking white kids and black kids doing this shit.
No, I'm sure.
And it's just it's a whole movement of just that. Like that's what's in.
Right.
I can't get with it. I can't, I like to wear Dragon Ball Z shirts. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Or I'm wearing polo, or I'll wear designers, or I'll wear or kick-wise, I'm always wearing Jordans because as a kid, couldn't afford them. Right. Now
I got grown money.
Now I got grown money. I got podcast money. I can freaking buy. That's all I wear.
And that's
wearing what I want.
And that's a great point that you just brought up too. Like where when I was younger, I needed to have like a Nietzsche, or I needed to have Fat Farm or Rockaware or whatever. Now I'm good with just like a $10 shirt at Target. I'm good.
Yeah, a $10 solid black t-shirt. It's like I don't need to be a billboard for a brand.
I've got more ass in this. I've got more ass in this shirt than I did in a Sean John shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Why did I go to Sean John?
We could go really dark with that, and we won't because it's YouTube.
Baby oil not included.
He said, I got so much baby oil in this shirt. Slip and slide, taking it out.
Shout out to Trina.
It's kind of hard with you not around. Anyway, yeah, but I will co-sign on the naps and the lack of FOMO.
Naps.
I've literally had the thought like I'm paying rent in this place. I'm not leaving.
Yeah,
I literally had that. I'm like,
oh my god! As soon as I got my own place, I was like FOMO completely out the window.
Exactly.
Yeah. I got everything I need here.
That's it. I'm like, I don't need to go out. Like I'm having a fine time at home. Even if I'm by myself, I'm like, this is great being an adult. I couldn't wait to do this when I was a kid. Look at me now.
Yeah, look at me.
I went to enough bars and shit when I was in my early 20s and still living at home. I'm like, I don't need to do all that now. Yeah. So
I'm so silly sometimes, even when I'm by myself, where I order a pizza and then afterwards I open it and I'm like, a lovely cheese pizza just for me.
Yes. References nobody else will understand.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Hilarious.
Well
done. Well done.
Thank you.
I love it. And the naps, same thing. Like with you, like going out at night, I'm like, well, I'm getting a nap first. I remember actually somebody had that on Twitter. That was months ago now. Somebody said, what's one thing you hated as a kid and loved as an adult? And I put naps. And you guys both liked it. And like everybody else I know in my personal life liked it. I got more likes on that tweet than probably any I ever had.
When I get home, I'm going to take one. In the Uber, I'm going to take one as well.
Nice.
I'm going to be so rested because I'm going to get drunk tonight. So it's just like, so I'm like, I'm prepared for that. I know that's going to be feel in the morning. Like that's different than your 20s.
Hangovers I don't want to feel.
That's another thing. Even that
we'll never be a fan of that.
No, that bounce. Food gives me hangovers now.
Food overs.
It's just like I did. If I ate a pint of ice cream in one sitting, I have a hangover for 3 days. It's like it's rough.
Yeah.
You just don't. Again, we were talking about bouncing back. It's like just don't bounce back the way you used to, and it's weird to think.
Dude, I think the ultimate thing that made me feel like I'm old is when I had to finally wear a CPAP machine just to sleep.
Oh man,
that's where I'm at right now.
I had a sleep test. I ended up not needing one, but just the thought of it, I was like, oh shit. Like there's stuff like that where I'm like, oh, is that on the table now already?
So when I discovered sleep tape, I started using that because again I everybody in my family has it. Everybody in my family has a version of sleep apnea or mouth breathers or whatever at night. So and I was wondering, like, as I was gotten older, like I wake up, my mouth is super dry, I have a headache, I'm not rested. Like I wake up tired. I'm just like, I just slept for 8 hours. Like,
how can I still be tired?
Why am I tired? Because again, you're not getting enough oxygen because of X, Y, Z or whatever.
So you're not really asleep. So you're knocked out, but you're not asleep.
I put it on at night. I wake up because it trains your body to breathe through your nose. Yes, it's totally sponsored by PAP MMD. Like get the tape, whatever.
Sleep tape.
Sleep tape. I'll send you a link for it.
I might need it because unfortunately I'm a mouth breather and my tongue gets. Bro, one of the scariest things is when I actually woke up trying to catch my breath. I felt like I was drowning.
That's
how bad it was.
The first person I realized that my dad, he got it, and then my mom, because they both use CPAP machines, and then my brother, he was looking for some stuff, and then I just gave him a stack. I was like, bro, try it. I guarantee you're gonna wake up. I wake up, and when it sucks because when I fall asleep and I don't use it, I wake up, I see the difference. Like I fell asleep last night and I forgot to use it. I was like, I'm not as rested and as like
as sharp as you want to be. Yeah.
And listen,
I am. It's night and day.
Yeah, and listen, I will say that the C-band machine, it does work. I've been using it for 2 years now, and it does work. I do notice a difference when I have it on and when I don't have it on. But to me, it was just a mental thing where I was feeling discouraged. Like, man, this is where I'm at in my life now, where I actually need a machine to actually sleep properly.
Yeah, it's like already. That's where I am when it comes to stuff like this, where I'm like, we're already here. I thought this stuff was going to happen a little bit later, right? But apparently. Yeah. Stuff's on the table,
and,
man.
And also, like, it's not to get too morbid here. I apologize, but my father did
end on a morbid note, please.
My father did pass away at the age of 66, and I'm 38, about to be 39, and like it's still a little bit of long ways, but time is moving super fast. Bro. Yeah. I remember when I just turned 30. I'm about to be 40 soon.
Yeah. Dude, even the pandemic, even 5 years ago, you're like, shit, that started 5 years ago.
When you said that, I was like, 5 years ago?
I know, it's weird, right? Yeah. Dude, this is 15 years this year since I've been podcasting, and I'm like, how the fuck is that possible?
I've known you guys for 2 years now, but when you said that verbally, I was like, has it really been that long? I feel like it's still brand new.
Yeah, no, that's this last 5 years for Cape, that's where it's all started to happen, just because of that. And it's weird to even reconcile that, where I'm like, wow, all this has happened because something that was completely out of my control. But at the same time, that's so much of life. So much stuff happens that we just don't handle. Yeah, it does.
But I don't need Blue Chew yet, so we're good.
Yeah, none of us here needs Blue Chew, so we're good on that.
I've tried it. It's great.
All right.
He's just trying to get a sponsorship.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome.
U-Goboy88 on the socials. Yo BTV Sports. Links in the description, by the way.
Scruff McGruff. Like, what do you do? Chicago, Illinois.
These kids and their links and their Blue Chew. Back in my day, we'd tie a rubber band around the end to keep it hard on.
It's like a cross between like Tim Allen and Scruff McGruff.
I was thinking about the old man from Up. I don't remember his name. I was thinking Ed Asner.
Yes.
I don't remember the character's name, but we all know who that is.
Oh my god.
Carl.
Oh my god. Carl. That's it. Thank you.
That's funny.
Oh my god.
1930s names.
Yeah. Well, listen. You want to follow these guys and their shows? The links are in the description down below. That's whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on a podcast app. The links are all down below. You can watch The Out. And check out all the subsequent things. It's obviously on a separate channel, but you can check out our short film, The Out, co-starring Ugo and myself. And U-Goboy Podcast, First Class, Second Place. If you want to look them up, wherever it is you're watching or listening right now, feel free. And we'll be back next week with yet another episode. And again, who knows how I'm going to look, because I don't know which episode's coming next. But it's going to be a good one. That I can promise. In 2025, Cape is going to be good. I've decided that. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
For coming back, for spending a day. What are we on? How much money have we raised? We're 4 hours in.
Jerry Lewis over
for sticking it out.
This is a business day.
It kind of is, actually. Yeah, this is like a part-time job coming in doing this goddamn show.
Business. This is about between business and pleasure.
It's all pleasure. I'm with you guys. Yeah. So thank you again for being here.
Thanks for the invite.
Thanks for the invite, brother.
And we'll be back in next week with yet another episode. So until next time, for Jason Enrique and U-Goboy, this is Chris Aballo, and this was yet another experiment.